All right, what's up, guys? Welcome, everybody. I think we're live. I think I'm coming through. Can I get a 5 by 5 out there in the live chat? Just let me know you guys can hear me, that I'm coming loud and clear. First show of the week. Just want to make sure there's no production snafus here. So just like I said, pop on in the chat and let me know I'm coming through clearly. All right. Well, everything's lighting up where it should be, so I think we're good. There it is. Mixed picks. Thank you. Thank you for that. Guys, it's great to be kicking off the week. Sorry it's a day late. Just had some stuff come up. Yesterday wasn't able to do the show, but I am very glad to be here today. Jump in the chat, say hello. We'll give as many shout outs as we can as we get this rolling here, and then we'll start the show at 4 o'clock like we always do. Silbor, Kiwoy, it's good to see y'all in the mosh pit over on D Live. Shout out to Joe over in Rumble. Hit that thumbs up button to all you guys watching over there on Rumble. I see you all out there lurking away. And of course, pill.net is where the chat is at. Make sure you pop on in and say hello over there. Give us a red pill and repost the show as well. Let's see who is in there today. We got Patriot 714. Oh, hold on. Due diligence, Floyd. Good to see you. And oh man, it's like cutting off comments now. Interesting. All right, Joe Elaine, mod in the chat. Love to see it. Delia down in Arizona, back in town. Love it. What's up? Esther G13 hooking us up with some shade. Says 12:20 p.m. in Southern California. Still watching, but not often live. Love and hugs always. Glad to see you out there, and thank you for the shades. Esther, I appreciate that. Laura Y, repping the 412 right here in my backyard. Let's go, Laura. Great to see you. We got Lance Lightspear out there as well. And our Harold checking in. Good to see you, our Harold. Scrolling. Joe Elaine modding the pill chat as always. Thank you, Joe, for all your hard work. Wisconsin on. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Pinata this week. I hope he pops in for this show, but it might just be Tien and I haven't really heard from him. So hopefully all is well with our buddy Drunk Pinata. Barb Robbins, how you doing? Dread Quarters. And who else is out there? Lucy Anders. Good to see you. Scrolling. Facts Not Fear. Cali Patriot. Monkey Toes in the house. What's up, Monkey Toes? Good to see Fazic out there. Tweety 52 and Truth Teller 101, KC Powwow. There's a lot of people chatting before the show even went live. Holy smokes. Nezercat checking in from Wyoming. We got Florida Mimi out there. Aurelius Law. Good afternoon, Mr. Gerardo. Mixed Picks. Good to see you. We got Jenker 2, Smoked 78, and Captain McMuffin, Ruby 317, Eagle Freedom dropping a cookie. Says good afternoon, 412 fam. Good afternoon, Ruby. Or Eagle Freedom, I'm sorry. My name is D, Captain McMuffin. And hey, what's up, Matt 1776 hanging out with us today. That's awesome. We got Captain Longboarder out there. And Don Ritchie 17, Awake Russell, the Gray Man. What's up, Gray Man? Henry 4570, Spirit 554, welcome. Drunk Pinata's server broke. Is he having just technical issues? Is that what's going on? What's up, Snow Bunny? Good to see Cynthia as well. Anyone? All right. Let's get this show started. We'll be right back.
We will make America strong again. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And yes, together, we will make America great again.
y'all for tuning in. Patriots united, doing what we gotta do to win. Be addicted to MSM, and now we're moving in. And once we take over, we won't ever move again. Where we go on, we go all. I say it with pride. No, we won't run, we won't fall. We're right by your side. The demons have taken hold, but none of us will abide. Stand strong and stand bold, that's how we'll survive. 412 is the production. Monday through Friday, deplorable discussions. We're making it hard for the deep state to function. Every time they switch up the narrative, we debunk it. Adult Hero is the power that's controlling the flight. With all the patriots behind them, cause we're all in this fight. So many rhyme for so long, but we're giving them sight. Trapped in the world of darkness, but we're bringing them light. You may even find yourself in a different life. A lot of us have, and honestly, that's perfectly fine. Because exactly where you are at this moment in life is where you're supposed to be at this moment in time. It's all by design, the patriots are holding the line. They must have lost theirs, thinking they're controlling our minds. So many trapped in mental prisons don't know they're confined. They're just slaves in the system till the roles are assigned. That's sad, the good news is that we're waking them up. They have monopolies on minds, but we're breaking them up. Everything you thought was news, they were making it up. When we ascend, all the tyrants won't be making the cut. Let them all burn in the hellscape they create. We the people already mapped out our escape. We hold each other by the hand as we all elevate and go to a different place. They can never get chased. When I look into the future, I can see that it's bright. When this history is written, they will see that we're right. We formed our own community and the circle is tight. But I expand the circle with every word that I write. The pen is sharper than the sword when you wield it with might. Why do you think they try to kick us off all the sites? These people hate America, punish us out of spite. We are the beacons of hope in the darkness of night. So let's go, strap in, yeah, get ready for the ride. Watch the water, we're witnessing the turning of the tide. Feel the passion and the fire that you got burning inside. Take the narrative they're feeding you and turn it to the side. We're alerted to the lies, we're preaching with the truth. We know the plan they devised, they're invading the youth. Now we're only incentivized to start raising our boots. These demons all weaponized. Now we're raising our troops. Now we're raising the roof and sounding the alarm. Remember that it's always darkest before the dawn. Life it's a game of chess. They want to use you as a pawn. You're only useful until you're not useful. Then you're gone. But not us. We're on the right team where we belong. Everybody is invited, so come follow along. We refuse to say things are right, knowing they're wrong. Adult Nero, take the mic and take flight, cause it's on.
And now, straight from the Steel City, it's your host, 412 Adol Nero.
All right, guys, it is Tuesday. We are kicking off the week a day late here on 412 Productions. Thank you guys so much for joining us for another broadcast. My name is Adol Nero. It is September 24th, 2024. I'm riding with my OG Tien Homesteader today for the next couple of hours. Tien, happy Tuesday, buddy.
Happy Tuesday. It is
Yes.
Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. We were just talking before the show about the economy and the scrambling by the Fed, dropping interest rates, Trump cozying up to Bitcoin and crypto in general, precious metals as well. I think some serious signaling that the days of fiat currency, fractional reserve banking, and the entire Ponzi scheme that has been the US dollar for since we've gone off the gold standard and really since the induction of the Federal Reserve, which I believe was 1913 or 1917, 1913. Man, some potentially paradigm changing moves here. And then you also, keep in the back of your mind the conversations that he supposedly had with GOP leadership about replacing federal income tax with a tariff-based revenue system for the country. We're talking a complete 180, flipping the entire system on its head, and in my opinion, to a huge benefit of the American people. Now, I don't know what kind of hardship and short-term problems, moves like this would cause in the short term, but long term, man, an economy based on a gold or silver backed currency, things like true blockchain technology, being a banking system without the middleman, the idea of eliminating the income tax, giving basically people their wealth back, their ability to get ahead and save like never before. Holy smokes. I mean, we're talking cooking with gasoline if he does even a couple of these things in the next 4 years. But you brought up a good question. When you talk about the Fed, the lowering of interest rates, the scrambling Why are they scrambling? What are they scrambling for? What's the purpose? Pontificate on that for a minute, Tien.
Well, I mean, let's put it into let's say a track race or a horse race scenario, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you're winning, you don't take it for granted, but meaning you're always looking for somebody coming up behind you, but you don't, there's nothing to play shenanigans against.
Right.
You're winning. So if we're looking at it from that perspective, if they're winning, why are they doing all these shenanigans? Because they're not winning. It's all a show. It's all an act. They're not they in your regular life. In your regular life, if when you go out there and do your thing in your regular life, whatever it is that you do, if you're on the positive, or if you're in the black, using a black red concept from the ledger perspective, if you're in the black, you watch out to make sure you're not going into the red, but you don't cook the books,
Right. That's a great way of putting it, Tien.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm looking at all this shit. I'm looking at all the bullshit on the polls. I'm looking at all the bullshit in the media. I'm looking at what Trump is doing. I'm looking at the signals he's sending out. And I don't mean comms per se. The signals are, you just enumerated some, are pretty freaking clear. He's going out there and handing $100 bill to people to pay their groceries or subsidize their groceries. Meanwhile, the government is sending out trillion to illegals and opening the door and all that kind of stuff out of your own dime, right?
Yeah.
And not only that, sending billions, close to a trillion, to or going to end up being there to Ukraine, and then flying the motherfucker into the country on an air force jet to meet with your governor. And I'm not pointing I'm pointing the finger at you, but not at you.
We're
To
gonna
your governor, yeah.
we're
Right,
gonna
we're
get
going to talk about that. Okay, so
oh,
when you
'cause
look at all this
that
shit,
pisses me the fuck off, but we'll get to that in a
yeah,
minute.
yeah, yeah. But using that as an example, why would you do that if you're winning? Why would you turn around and the people you're trying to elicit, they're going along with you, put your boot on their neck and tell them the beatings will continue until morale improves,
Essentially, yeah.
right?
I don't,
It doesn't
yeah,
make sense. It
it
doesn't
does.
make sense. You have the blacks coming out of the woodwork saying, fuck you.
We've got a
Sorry.
bunch of videos. No, you're good. We've got a
Yeah, yeah,
bunch of
yeah, yeah,
videos
yeah.
that we're gonna kind of kick off the show with just to
So,
kind of
anyways,
going on the
just to
light.
wrap it all up, it was just basically saying you don't do this when you're winning. You do this when you're losing.
I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree more, Tien. I could not
It's
agree more.
infuriating, no less. Don't get me wrong. There are times where I just grip the handle and just
Oh,
enjoy the brass.
the closer to defeat, we'll just say that the general establishment cabal gets, the more insufferable they will become. And
Exactly.
I think that's just something that we do have to kind of take a deep breath, remain buoyant, understand, where we are in this timeline, and realize that all of the that insufferable rhetoric, lies, and just nonsense that we're getting from this cabal is due to the fact that there's so much pressure being put on them. They're losing, and that's why they're behaving this way. If they're not losing, like Tien said, it would be a continuation of this totalitarian tiptoe, slowly turning up the heat on the frog until the water starts to boil and it's too late. But instead, it's a totally different scenario. They're jacking up the heat way too quickly because they're panicking. The frog is jumping out of the water, and they don't really know what to do about it. They can't argue with logic or reason, so it becomes an argument with volume. And yeah, it just you could really read between the lines in the way the enemy is is reacting to a lot of the things going on right now. So it's fun to see. Let me take care of our sponsor here, and then we'll just kind of jump right into all this. And I'll do the sponsor spot pretty quickly today. It's earthgardenbotanicals.com, like it usually is. We love Earth Garden and Jolene up in Montana making these wellness products, sourcing all of the ingredients locally and organically on small farms, like the CBD oil tinctures. Fantastic products. Fantastic product. The flavors are unbelievable. Orange ginger bergamot, huckleberry, cinnamon bliss, cherry, peppermint. Even the unflavored is very good. CBD oil for pets. You got your fire cider, your elderberry tonic, your arnica salve, the topical cream with or without CBD infused. Check out the teas, sunshine and pine needle tea, serenity, got your golden potion, elderberry tea, and of course the Happy Trails Critter Juice, the all-natural insect repellent, keeping the bugs and mosquitoes off you. It smells good. It's not oily and gross. Guys, these products are all amazing. Most of you, or not most of you, but many of you have already tried these and have spoken very highly about your experience with earthgardenbotanicals.com. So go there, check it out. Promo code 412 gets you 10% off your order. So go load up a cart. Say hi to Jolene. If you have any questions about any of the products, and there's many here that we don't often talk about, just reach out to her through the website. She loves hearing from you all. She loves helping you, making sure you fully understand what you're getting and how to use it. Yeah, she just loves this community, and we're so proud to have her as a sponsor. Again, that's earthgardenbotanicals.com. Promo code 412 at checkout for 10% off your order. And well, Tien, let's just start with something kind of hilarious here. I came across this. I was like, oh, this would be a good thing to kind of kick off a show, and made me laugh. So I think you guys will enjoy this as well.
I'll be running for president.
There we go. All right, so this little girl is mocking Kamala Harris, and it's freaking hilarious. How do I? Here we go.
I'll be running for president of the United States. And we have states. And they're united.
Okay, thank you, Vice President Kamala Harris. And one more question. What do you think about the United States of America?
And because think about it. States should be united. And all the states now, well, they have a president to preside over them. Oh, that's good.
Thank you, Kamala. Now, moving on to our current president, Joe Biden. What do you want to say to America before you leave office?
My fellow Armenians of the United Grapes of Australia, it's been an honor and a dignity to serve pizza. Serve as the guy flies around in a helicopter, wears suits, American flag, president.
I mean, she's not that far off considering he was just yelling at the people when he had the Pacific Rim people, and he said, "Who's next? Who's next?"
I didn't see that.
And it's the Prime Minister of India sitting right behind him. Oh,
God.
just what cracks me up in general is the perception of a bubble, and then really need to understand the elections and the process for elections, because the general election is not how the president is elected. That's what I'm saying. That people need to understand the general election is really, more importantly, the down ballot. Yes, the general election for president has an influence on the electoral college, but that's not how you elect the president.
Right. It's a concept that needs to be, I think, beaten into the heads of people as they're going through the schooling system, because the level of ignorance around that is kind of astounding, honestly, the way that they can kind of sell the opposite.
There's two. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Finish your thoughts. Good.
No, and there's two floating theories that are out there now, and it's plausible how the Democrats will play it, because we've seen some of the stuff that they said, like Raskin and so forth, and that is on the aspect of a tie. Well, there's two aspects. The certain states not being certified means they're not counted. So it's the two, and so you may not get to 270 to win, And there are constitutional and there are laws on how to address that. People are not understanding that, and to understand that it goes to Congress, it becomes an issue in the House. So that's why the electoral vote is so important, and it doesn't matter what is out there on the streets for the president. Yes, it matters in the bigger scheme from a popularity perspective and from the coattails and the influence to the electoral. But understand that the game has moved. It's no longer about the presidency. It's about the down ballot.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of shit happening at the state level.
Really comes down to the state governments, because if neither state gets the 270 certified votes, every state gets one vote, and that vote is determined by typically the spread of power within, I believe it's a state house, or maybe it's a combination of the House and Senate. I forgive me, I don't know if it's both or just the House. But yeah, so you get each state House of Representatives.
One state, one vote.
Yeah, votes on who their state is going to vote for. So, for example, the Green Bay sweep, I think is what they called it back in 2020 with Peter Navarro and what's his name, Steve Bannon, were talking about. What they were trying to do was get enough states to decertify their electoral votes. So states like Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Arizona, and others that had serious issues, way more fraudulent votes than was the margin of victory. And the plan was to send those electors back to the state, have the state decertify those electoral votes, bringing us below 270 for either candidate, and then having at that time the state governments vote on their candidate. And at that point, I believe it was a 26-24 Republican majority when it came down to these state representatives in each respective state. So had every state voted along party lines, you would have had a 26-24 Donald Trump victory, and he would have been then president the last 4 years. Now, Mike Pence refused to do it. You had the false flag that was January 6th, the debates and all that never really happened the way they were supposed to. And they jammed the illegitimate, senile, pedo loser Joe Biden down our throats. And we've seen the results of that over the past 4 years. I'm sure you're all enjoying your $4 gallons of gas and your grocery cart with 2 bags in it that cost you over $150 anymore. I'm sure everyone's really enjoying the fruits of that. But anyway, that's essentially what we're talking about here. And that whole process is so, like, the United States population is so uneducated, I guess, or ignorant to how like this actually works, that you could sell them, if you're MSNBC or CNN or a lot of these different news outlets, to their people, that simply attempting to decertify the vote was an attempt to overthrow the United States government, or take away people's votes, when it's just not reality at all. But this is how the machine plays off the ignorance that they create through their own state-run indoctrination systems that we call public education and higher education. Did I get all that right, Tian? Am I on the right path here?
Yes.
All right. I wanna play another funny video here. There's someone put out this Kamala Harris ad parody, and it's also really freaking funny. Take a listen, guys.
I, Kamala Harris, am your Democrat candidate for president because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility at the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember, that's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had 4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant. Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, There is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time. Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking. The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring. And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Gillette. I don't know who did that, but man,
it's Mr. Reagan.
Okay,
That's
the video that caused Gavin Newsom to make that legislation.
Is that?
Yeah,
because Elon Musk shared that.
Yep.
That's so funny.
The funny part is that it's a mixture of real and AI.
Yeah.
Because some of those things she actually did say.
Yeah. That's great work.
But it's amazing that Newsom signs a bill basically outlawing parodies, outlawing humor, outlawing rather basically sarcasm or the most, let's say, traditional of ridicule is the most traditional form of humor, comedy.
Yeah.
But it also goes along with that concept of the uneducated. Because if you fall into believing just from that, then you're in trouble.
It cracks me up. It just cracks me up how, first of all, how the left has absolutely no sense of humor and how they have absolutely no respect for the intelligence of their own people. That they think like, oh man, like someone could watch that video and think that that's actually Kamala Harris ad campaign.
You know what? But based on what they say and how people regurgitate what they say and believe, are you shocked that they think that the people that believe them will believe that's real?
I guess, yeah. I mean, if you dumb them down to the point where they'll
exactly
watch MSNBC or CNN and take it seriously, and I guess, yeah, you have to protect against that kind of thing as well. Too freaking funny, man.
I mean, when they're still putting out a advertisement. What was it? Where did it come across? I saw it on local advertising here, and it was an ad talking about a political ad talking about Trump and Project 2025, and again they repeated the find people on both sides in the ad. But nuisance, that's an absolute lie. Nuisance is outlawing, but would not outlaw that.
No, of course
not. Not that they played it in California. I have no idea if they played it in California or not. But I'm getting to the point where I'll lay you odds that would not be outlawed. There would be no claims of fraud or whatever they're categorizing the crime, the alleged crime rather, as that. It's amazing, and I still go back, and I firmly believe, and if I'm looking at it from a perspective of too optimistic, all I could say is this: you don't fuck with the game if you're winning the game.
Yep. I guess they made one making fun of Gavin Newsom too. But before I go to that, and thank you, Kim Iowa, for sharing. Pinata, how you doing, buddy?
I am sans internet.
That's not good. What happened?
The router, I guess, the modem or whatever whatever the thing is. It's TN. What is it? I don't even know. Broadband adapter, whatever.
Yeah.
It ran a diagnostic check from their end, and they just automatically shipped me a new equipment. I guess it was that bad.
Wow.
Okay. So how long are you out for?
Supposedly I get it tomorrow, so we'll see.
Hopefully that's
They're
the
going to
case.
overnight it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's how bad that thing was messed up. I didn't even tell it. I didn't have to request it. They're like, oh, you need a new one, and you're getting it. We're overnighting it to you.
Yeah. Mr. Pinata, next time, do not do tortillas on your modem. That's not how you fold the shell for a taco. Sorry.
Well, maybe I'll use the old one as a pinata.
There you go.
No, I think it's one of those ones that you have to probably give it back to the store or whatever.
Yeah.
Probably.
Well, I don't know what they're gonna do with it.
All right, let's watch this Gavin Newsom parody thing. I have no idea what this is, but Kim sent it, said it was hilarious, and if it's half as good as the Kamala one, then I'm all for checking it out. Here we go.
Gavin Newsom, and I'm definitely not gay. A lot of people are criticizing me for banning AI-generated political videos. So let me explain. The problem is that Democrats, like me, we're not the brightest bulbs in the tanning bed. We can't always distinguish between reality and fiction. When Elon Musk posted Mr. Reagan's brilliant Kamala Harris parody video, I thought that was real. And so I realized, without laws governing what we are allowed to see and hear, how will we ever know what's really true? If I don't ban Mr. Reagan's AI parody videos, how would we ever know that Trump will be a dictator on day one, or that if he doesn't win, he's promised a bloodbath? How would we know that Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation? Also, I'm definitely not gay. Also, how would we know that inflation is transitory and that the border is secure? How would we know that COVID came from bat soup and Trump told everyone to inject bleach? How would we know that boys can be girls and girls can be boys and there's no such thing as gender? How would we know that Trump is controlled by Vladimir Putin? Also, I'm super not gay. Also, how would we know that Trump totally assaulted E. Jean Carroll in a Bergdorf Goodman dressing room? How would we know the 2020 election was totally legitimate with zero fraud? How would we know that January 6th was an armed insurrection where many police officers lost their lives? How would we know that the COVID vaccines had zero side effects and that masks were 100% effective? How would we know Kamala brilliantly invented her very own original idea, no tax on tips, or that I'm totally not gay?
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
How would we know that Trump wrote Project 2025 or that Trump staged both of his assassination attempts? And how would we know that Trump is literally Hitler? Reincarnation is definitely a thing. Hitler died in 1945. Trump was born in 1946. Coincidence? I think not. How would we know that all of that is true if we don't ban Mr. Reagan's AI parody videos? How would we know that we should all drink the Kool-Aid? We won't know, because Mr. Reagan's AI parody videos are a threat to our democracy. They spread dangerous disinformation, unlike all of the super true stuff that we Democrats tell you. And also, most importantly, I'm definitely not gay.
Mr. Reagan.
I knew it was going to end up with with that.
Fucking better. Oh, just the randomly adding in, and I'm definitely not gay, over and over again. That's just
and I'm super not gay.
well done, Mr. Reagan. Oh man, that you might be my new favorite memer. I don't know. Those are two home runs right there.
Yep,
that's amazing.
It's almost like they should be a point counterpoint type of thing, right?
Yeah. Oh man, that was good. That was so good. It made it even better too that we were laughing at the fact that, well, he probably banned it because, you know, Democrats have been so indoctrinated and mentally.
Yeah, we're not the brightest bulb.
That's exactly where it started out.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I swear to you, I had not seen that video.
That was so good. Thank you, Kim, Iowa, for sending that in. That was well done. All right, we've got some clips here. One that TN had, a couple that TN had sent actually. That I actually haven't seen all of these yet, but you know, one thing we've been keeping an eye on is the Black community. We've been watching the polling and seeing how Donald Trump is making record inroads with the Black community when it comes to support and approval rating. We've seen a lot of these more anecdotal things, but you know, different man on the street different TikTok content of different people talking about this election and politics in general. So I've got a couple of these videos lined up I want to play here in the first hour. So let's start with this one. Yeah, I asked you to queue this up. I was having trouble downloading it for some reason, but I ended up finding it on Twitter anyway, so no need.
Okay.
Here's the first one. Again, these were brought to my attention by TN. So enjoy, everybody.
I made a video the other day asking people when was the moment that they came to the conclusion Donald Trump is racist. A lot of people said Essential Part 5. We'll talk about that in another video. For me personally, it was the very fine people on both sides thing.
But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
I remember seeing that clip and feeling like, wow, maybe he is racist. And I just happened to come across this video on YouTube. It basically said that the clip was edited and that I should go back and watch the entire clip. So I watched the entire thing. It got to that point where he says very fine people on both sides. And I'm like, see, that's exactly, I knew he said that. There's no point in me even continuing to watch this. And then it goes on and it gets to the part where he's like.
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists because they should be condemned totally.
So he said he wasn't talking about the neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Why would they show me part of the story and make me feel like this? Even in the presidential debate against Joe Biden, he brought up the very fine people thing.
He said, I think they're fine people on both sides. What American president would ever say, Nazis coming out of fields, carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile, carrying swastikas, were fine people?
Kamala Harris just brought it up on the recent debate.
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
People are still saying it even though it's been debunked. Snopes just added this shit in 2024 that was a lie. Supposedly said in 2017. He dropped out of a presidential race because white supremacists joined his same party.
I'm not going to be running. The party is, as you know, self-destructing. When you say the party is self-destructing, what do you see as the biggest problem with the Reform Party right now? Well, you've got David Duke just joined. A bigot, a racist, a problem. I mean, this is not exactly the people you want in your party.
Then you find that clip of him with Jesse Jackson.
Beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who's an effective builder of building of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Well, it is an honor to be here.
You see the clip with him on The View and him and Whoopi Goldberg, she's saying that they're friends.
I don't think I'm going to get Whoopi's vote.
If you did, let me just ask, if you did beat...
And she likes me. She even put me in her movies.
I was just going to say.
She put me in her movies, right? A long time ago. How much did I charge? Nothing.
Like they say in the
It was a freebie.
If you did beat Obama, though.
People love this guy. Like Oprah saying that he should run for president.
Do you have a vice presidential candidate in mind?
Well, I really haven't gotten quite there yet.
It's just
Oprah. I love Oprah. Oprah would always be my first choice. Oprah, your competitor, right?
Oprah's a competitor.
You know what?
No
I'll tell you, she's really a great woman, though. She is a terrific woman. She's somebody that's very special.
Judge Joe Brown said,
I've talked to a number of black entrepreneurs who back in the late 80s and 90s, early 90s, were trying to get financing. They couldn't. Somebody told them to go check with Donald Trump. So they come back and tell me they got a loan from Donald Trump. He gave them a term loan. Show up with the interest and the principal, one check. But they had to go see him personally. They independently relate this tale that when they saw him, he said, this what you're supposed to pay me? This our agreement? I said, yeah. And then tore the check up, shook their hands, and congratulations. Now run your business.
And this was when?
This was back in the 90s.
Waka Flocka talks about how he showed him how to increase his wealth.
Get a C Corp to run an LLC. If you want to make it even deeper, go get a trust fund and run a corp that runs the LLC. You want to get even deeper, own two trust funds for your business and your person to run that trust that runs all the business. It can get deep, my guy. Absolutely. And Donald Trump actually showed me that method.
People will say that they want truth, but when you try to present them with information that goes against their beliefs of Donald Trump, they act like this.
He's condemned white supremacy over 20 times.
Oh yes, when? Could you tell me when?
Yeah, absolutely. Would you like to see a video of montage of 20 times that he's done it?
Oh, actually no. I'm more interested in walking up in.
But how are we going to learn if we don't challenge our ideas? I mean, you just made a statement that is actually inaccurate, and I can show you video evidence of why it is. I mean, would you like to see that?
No, thank you.
He's condemned white supremacy and the KKK over 20 times.
Over 20 times?
Yeah.
Do you have them right here? Can I listen to it?
Absolutely, you can. Let me pull it up for you right now.
All right.
By the way, I'm James. How's your day going, man?
It'd be a lot better if you guys were wearing masks.
We can socially distance.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Wait. You don't want to see the examples? I have 20 examples right here.
He is a white supremacist.
It's just like Yuri said.
Exposure to true information does not matter anymore. A person who was demoralized is unable to assess true information. The facts tell nothing to him. Even if I shower him with information, with authentic proof, with documents, with pictures, when a military boot crashes his balls, then he will understand, but not before that. That's the tragic of the situation of demoralization.
The populace versus the establishment. Whatever they do to the populist candidate, they're doing to you. When you assist the establishment in crushing the populist candidate, they're going to turn around and do it to you next. Whatever rules that they broke to get at him, that you cheered on because you were so anti-him, those rules were broken so that they can get your consent. And now that they've used your hatred to build consent to break the rules, now they can turn that same attack towards you. And you've yayed and amened it into existence. If you previously believed that Trump was racist and then something changed your mind, I'd like to know what was that moment. Thank you for watching again. Like I said, I appreciate your time and attention because you can't get it back. Leave whatever opinions that you want in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next one.
I love this video. I love it for so many reasons. One, it just completely dispels, which we already know, Donald Trump is not a racist man. He's never been a racist man. He is not a hateful man. He is, he's all about equal opportunity and, lifting up all communities. And I think we've seen that, in his time as president and in his rhetoric.
That's why they're daily life from what you see when he goes on the street.
That's why
you
they're
don't
so
see him asking his aides for money or his aides for things. He reaches into his pocket and hands people money.
Yeah,
and he did that when he wasn't president.
That's why they're so desperate to pay him.
Exactly.
Because they know it's just absolutely not true.
Correct.
So they have to find these little out of context sound bites and things and blow them out of proportion, because they know the persona they're trying to paint to the American people is based on absolute nonsense. So very interesting.
I got one more if you want to play. It's only 2.5 minutes, this one. The other one was 6. But it's
let me finish my thoughts on this one real
quick.
quick.
I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry.
No, you're good, but definitely want to see it. So the other thing I love about this video too is he kind of gets into not only the mindset behind some of these people, showing people that don't want to see the examples of how they're wrong. I mean, how many of you have been in conversations with people that you might not be on the same side of this kind of thing with, and you come with receipts and they don't want to see the receipts, right? Like, I feel like that's all too common in the way we interact and the way a lot of people interact with this kind of information. And then he caps it off with the whole idea of manufacturing consent and how they use your hatred and fear of an individual to make an exception, to break down a paradigm, to break down a social norm or a precedent in law or whatever it might be, right? They use your emotion and your fear, and then it's like, all right, well, in this situation, it's okay to behave this way or to give up this right or to change the way we think about something, not thinking that could be weaponized against you in the future. And that right there is really, really important to understand. And that's something that I think, the way the media and the establishment has created this irrational fear of Donald Trump, this irrational hatred of Donald Trump, is really going to play against so many of these people in the long run. Is they don't realize how they're cheering on what will eventually be used to destroy them too. because everyone has this moment where they're going to wake up and see this bullshit for what it is. But at that point, it might be too late. You might have already consented to too much. And I thought this video was excellent on all those fronts. It dispelled the myth, and it brought up a couple other really important concepts that need further explored and in deeper conversations around. But it touched on a lot of really important things, things really crucial to understanding, how these people operate and the way they manipulate the human mind to accomplish long-term goals over long periods of time. They're always looking at the long game. They're always looking at 3 or 4 steps ahead as to how they can use this situation to tear down something that they want to tear down in the long run. And yeah, Donald Trump has been a perfect example of that. So there you go. That's what I picked up from all that. What's the other one you have, Tien?
So sorry, I didn't want you to hear my clicking on keyboard while you were talking. It's on the same vein, but it's from a different perspective, which is this is what we're seeing. I know it's anecdotal but we're seeing more and more of these videos, and like as I was saying to you before, these people are putting their faces out there,
Mm-hmm.
which is important. Understand that it's not like being behind the keyboard like me or behind an avatar and saying something on Truth Social. These people are putting their faces out there.
Mm-hmm.
So their neighbors, their friends, their everybody that sees them on the street may see them on the street will recognize what they're saying. So that's what is interesting to me and on all this. So here's the other one.
Some of y'all would vote for the devil himself if the devil ran for president as a Democrat. And let me tell you, this is especially for all you black people who are out there telling me that I need to just be quiet. I shouldn't ask questions of Kamala Harris. I should support her just because she's black. I'm hating on her. No, I am not. She is a political candidate running for the highest office in the land. As a voter, as an American citizen, I have every right to demand answers of her. I have the right to examine her policy positions, to demand to know her policy positions before I just blindly give her my vote. And I want you all to know, some of you all have such low standards that all a person has to do is come out and run as a Democrat, especially for the black voters. All a person has to do is come out and run as a Democrat, say all these nice things what they're planning on doing, paint a pretty picture, demonize the other side, and you automatically give them your vote without checking into those people, without seeing what their policy positions are, without trying to understand their policy positions. To do your research on these political candidates, because these people are going to be sitting in the highest office in the land making decisions that's going to affect your life, that's going to affect your family's life. In a few years, your family could either be struggling to survive or thriving based on the policy positions that these people put out. So for me, it's going to take more than somebody showing up and being black or being a woman or South Asian, whatever nationality they are. It's going to take more than that for me to give somebody my vote. Votes are earned. And especially to all the black voters who vote Democrat just because your mother did it and the grandmother did it and generations before you have been doing it. I don't care who's been voting Democrat before me. I don't care if my mother voted Democrat and my father and all the generations before me voted Democrat. I don't owe the Democratic Party a thing. I don't owe Kamala Harris a thing. She's running for office. She is the one who owes the American people. She owes the American people an explanation. She owes the American people clarity on her policy positions and how they are going to help the American people. She is the one indebted to the American people. The American people are not indebted to her. I don't owe her anything, or the Democratic Party.
Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly.
I had the same video lined up.
Oh, did you? Oh,
No, I mean, it's
yeah, well, good.
I played it or you played it. That was funny
Yeah.
that we had the same
And
thing.
it's not. There's many more out there, right?
Yeah.
So, and again, it's anecdotal, and it's not just. I mean, these are within the black population because of the preponderance to vote monolithic that way. But it's not just the blacks. Same thing is happening with certain traditional, even in my wife's family, there are some Democrats that have always voted Democrat, and their family has always voted Democrat, and now are starting to see that, oops.
Yeah.
And,
They're anecdotal, but they mirror what we're seeing, Tian, in the polling, right? I mean, we're seeing actual data behind the anecdotal too. It's not just like a feeling or a push of these kind of videos to make the mindset seem more prevalent than it might actually be in reality. Donald Trump going into 2020 had about 8% support from the black community. I think right now, the latest polling I saw, he's hovering in the low 20s. That's a massive, massive shift. And that doesn't also, you also have to look at the disapproval of the Democrats, going in. I think Joe Biden was at like 96% or something approval. I mean, he was down in the 60s. Now, I don't know what Kamala is. I really don't. I'm assuming that she's a bit higher than Joe simply because she pretends to be black. But it's still, I would guess below 75. So you have this moving in two separate directions favorably for the Republican or the right now. The black community, the black population demographic, whatever you want to call it, is starting to kind of wake up to the fact that they have been the face of a Democrat scam for a long, long time. They're starting to realize that these many of these major cities that have been run almost solely on Democrat control, they really don't. Their policies really don't, put them in a position to prosper or succeed. They promote the kind of society that's very unfavorable, that kind of diminishes the importance of the nuclear family, and promotes a lifestyle that really keeps them on a mental plantation, an economic plantation, that's very hard for them to get out of. And you, like I said, you see them slowly kind of, wait a minute, you don't really have our best interests at heart. And I think a big part of what's driving that is the import of all these illegal aliens into these major cities that are now being prioritized over the black communities, or inner city, I should say inner city communities. And we've seen, how many videos have we seen of community centers, high school gymnasiums, and other schools in general that were otherwise being used for the community, now being used to house and shelter illegals. They're being, they could see that they're being replaced. And I think that that's going to only exponentially get worse and worse over time here. So it's just an interesting thing to watch.
Yeah, it is. And it's happening more and more. And Floyd wants me to remind everybody on what LBJ said, or is attributed to LBJ saying, which is basically, he said he used the N word, but the aspect of keeping him, in the plantation. I'll paraphrase it.
We'll have him voting Democrat for the next 100 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Essentially what he said.
But but he didn't.
He said it in a very uncouth.
He's the same guy that basically spearheaded blocking the Civil Rights Act. But then when he becomes president, and the Great Society movement, and he is also the one that basically was fighting Eisenhower on integrating the military until he becomes president.
Yeah.
Let alone how he became president. But it's interesting, and the thing about the polls is kind of funny, because if you focus on any single one, it's losing the aspects of the trend. It's the trend that's important. And looking at the action and reaction, I was looking at, Petrosky and I were looking at Real Politics the other day, and it was really funny that a poll for Trump comes out and it has a poll comes out, it has Trump as positive by I think it was like 2 points. And then immediately 3 polls come out with the exact same numbers for Kamala. CNN just put out numbers from 3 different states on the aspects of the economy, and Kamala was at 42% in all 3 states. It's like, but the whole point is you need to look at the trend in an aspect that's not that it's believing, but you can get data out of it. And then you have people that basically will look at the data and tell you the facts, like Silverman and so forth, Nate Silver rather, and others. Rasmussen is pretty straightforward on their stuff. I don't necessarily rely on the daily presidential approval index, because that's just basically a simple 4-answer question of popularity.
Right.
It's really where it matters is not, and this is where you get interesting, and this is why I found CNN being very interesting. CNN has been pretty much in the forefront of putting out numbers that are pro-Trump, but notice they're not doing and they're just basically portraying polls, but they're not doing the popularity vote, what I call the popularity vote, and it says, do you approve of vote? Do you approve or disapprove of, will you vote for Trump or not? It's when it comes down to the individual subjects of the economy, the border, etc. Trump is killing it.
Yeah.
So this is where you have the aspect of saying, okay, how are people answering the pollsters, and then turning around, what are they actually going to do when they're sitting alone inside that cube, if you will?
Yeah, there's a lot of,
proverbial goes, right?
again, if you really want to understand this stuff and how this all works, I can't recommend. I think Rich Barris does a live stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, called Inside the Numbers. And if you really want to understand the science behind polling, the way some of these more corrupt polling organizations manipulate the data, how they spike polls, how they hold on to them, if they get one they like and they want to save it for an opportunity. Like they do a lot of really sneaky, underhanded things, whether it's skewing data, spiking polls they don't like, or holding them back to time them for certain things. Like it's no longer an honest, like, hey, let's try to get an idea of what the people are thinking right now. It's much more, how can I gaslight people into thinking that certain things are trending a way that they most certainly are not, or that's advantageous to our preferred candidate.
So
So
then the question is how do you determine good data from within that? Because it's not at the ultimate number; it's in the crosstabs, and that's where that information comes in handy, because it's understanding how it's done and the opportunities to that, so that you can go on and look at the crosstabs and say, they oversampled Democrats, or they oversampled this demographic for this particular question, right?
Or even
Well,
how to ask the
if,
questions
if you ask, if I may, if you ask one simple question, and I'm not saying that this was in a poll, but you ask a simple question: do you support no taxes on Social Security? The people that are on Social Security are going to say, hell yes. The people that are a long way from collecting Social Security won't give a shit.
Yeah.
And that's the simple thing about looking at it and saying, oh, when you see a number that 50%, and I'm using this as a negative aspect of it, 50% support no taxes on Social Security. Well, okay, but they oversampled on that age group that would be in Social Security.
Right.
Right. And I'm using that as an example because it's something that I personally like, the fact that if you contributed to your own Social Security, why are you paying taxes on what you contributed or what the government mandated your employer to contribute?
You're being taxed on something you already taxed on to begin with. Yeah.
Yes. For the privilege of collecting on the money that you put in for being taxed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's your money changer concept, right? But anyways, to I digressed. The whole point is the aspect of understanding how they work, to be able to look at the numbers and basically start saying not whether it's a reliable poll because it's CNN or Rasmussen. It's because you understand what the poll is doing.
Exactly. All right, we have to go to our halfway point. We'll jump into the latest New York Times Siena poll, which the Democrats are not happy about, and we'll get into a few other. I think I have two things on polling. Yeah, I think I have a couple things on polling and voter registration, and then we will get into a few other things as well. I got to talk about Josh Shapiro and this whole Zelensky thing. My God. And then I got some other stuff on the second assassination attempt, and I don't know. We'll either get deep into that or jump around some random things. We'll just kind of see how the conversation flows here in hour number 2, which will be exclusively available over on pill.net, the home of free speech online. I hope that you guys will come over and continue hanging out with us in the second hour today. The link is in the Rumble description. I'm throwing it in the Rumble chat as well. Also over on DLive to make it super easy. If for some reason you cannot access or click on these links that we've provided, simply go to pilled.net on your browser and find us at 412 Productions. It's honestly very, very easy to do. So I hope to see you guys over in the comfy bunker on hour number 2. We'll play a quick little video. We'll come back on the other side, officially say goodbye to the other platforms, read your gold pills, and you guys have been very generous so far. I greatly appreciate it. And then we'll continue on with our deplorable discussions here on this beautiful Tuesday here in Pittsburgh. We'll be right back.
Pill.net is proud to host 412 Productions, exclusively on the true home of free speech. To continue watching the show, we are here to help you over to Pilled. If you're new to the platform, just click on the welcome link provided. It will then automatically walk you through signing up for your free account. If you already have a Pill.net account, follow the link provided directing you straight to 412 Productions channel. We are excited to have you join the Pilled family, and if you have any questions at all, please email support@Pill.net. Enjoy the rest of 412 Productions on Pill.net. Free speech lives here.
All right. We are back again. As always, a big thank you to all of you out there that have jumped over and continue to hang out with us for the second hour. Those of you who won't be, make sure you tune in tomorrow. We'll have 45-1 Actual and the whole No Prisoners podcast crew joining the panel for our Wednesday show. Thursday is taking it back. Hopefully we'll get Frankie Val back in the fold with Zach Payne. Will be syndicated on Badlands Media, and then Friday we'll wrap up the week with the OG crew. No Saturday morning this weekend. I will be up in Buffalo for another wedding with the fam. So it's the last one of the summer. We've had 3 weddings this summer up in Buffalo. 3 of my cousins getting married. So this is the last one, last trip up there, probably until Christmas. So looking forward to seeing everybody again. But point being is that there will be no Saturday morning show, and then from there we'll kick off the next week. So on the 30th on Monday. So that's the plan going forward here. So again, jump over to pill.net if you'd like to keep watching today. Again, the channel is 412 Production. There are links in the video description on Rumble, the live chat on Rumble, and of course over on DLive chat as well. So I hope to see you guys over there. Otherwise, have an awesome rest of your Tuesday, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow at 4 p.m.